you're my hope and stay. And when I cannot stand, I'll fall on you. Jesus, you're my hope and stay. And I need you, oh, I need you. Every hour I need
ahead and give God thanks and praise in the name of Jesus Christ and welcome you to this time of worship. We have another door. I'd like to thank John Dahl and Ruth Moore for preparing the doors for this series. I'm grateful for them taking the time to do that. These are on loan to us from Habitat Restore. So if you have things you might need to pick up, check out Habitat Restore. I have been out of town this week, first for a Word of Ordained Ministry retreat with people who are coming up through the process and are hoping to be ordained in June at our annual conference. That was a 2-day thing. And then I went to Kansas City with Meredith and Ruth for Church of the Resurrection Leadership Institute. I hugged Adam Hamilton inappropriately. You're just supposed to shake celebrities' hands. Apparently they can't hug 1,000 people in a row, so I had to apologize a little bit for that. But I have a picture of me with Adam Hamilton. I've already shared the aura with Wes and Laura, and if y'all want to get close to someone who hugged Adam Hamilton, here I am. We have a new member class coming up next week. And if you haven't signed up for it, I would encourage you to do that today. We would like to, I love new member classes because it gives me a chance to talk a little bit about who we are as United Methodist Church, to talk about who this congregation is, to hear the stories of people who have come to worship in this place, and to invite them to be a part as a member. As I invite people into membership, I ask them, I share my expectations. I hope people come here whether they're members or not. I'm people's pastor, their pastor whether they're a member or not. But if you choose to join the church, you will hear this. You're expected to be in worship. Right? You're expected to be part of small groups and to be learning and growing in your faith. You're expected to be in prayer for your pastor and for the leadership and for the congregation. You're expected to be in service to the community. And you're expected to share your invitation, your story, your witness with the people that you meet. So you don't have to ever be a member, but for those of you who are already members, those are the expectations. Membership is just a step up when you are really ready to throw your hat in the ring and get on with it, right? So I would love for those of you who have not yet chosen to join the church to come to the membership class. I love teaching membership classes. Next thing, I said I was out of town all week, and that's true, and I'm going to be out of town tomorrow also. My mom yesterday had what my brother and sister thought was a stroke. They took her to the emergency room. My brother happened to be visiting from Chicago. My sister lives in Geneseo, near where my mom lives. She's the person who really is the first line of care providing for my mom. As they went through the tests and everything, they have decided that they think it is seizure-related. My mom was diagnosed with epilepsy as a young girl, but has controlled it all these years. But maybe the drug that she's been taking for 60 years, they called it an old drug. Maybe there are some medications as she ages that might help her. She's 87 years old. So I'm leaving after church today to go. My brother and sister have been with her this weekend. I'm going to go up tonight and relieve my brother and sister so they can go home. And I'm going to stay with her tomorrow. She gets nervous when she has these episodes, and she lives alone. And so we just want to make sure that she feels confident that she can manage on her own. So that's where I will be tomorrow. And if you would keep us in your prayers, that would be fantastic. I'd like to give you an update about the Leadership Institute very briefly. This week, Meredith, Ruth, and I had the experience of attending the Leadership Institute at the Church of the Resurrection. Normally, this Leadership Institute is open to all denominations. And Adam Hamilton and his congregation, they're committed to helping the Church of Jesus Christ grow, whatever flavor of church you are. This year, they limited participation to just United Methodists. We discussed the future of the denomination. As you may or may not know, the denomination is if you took the summer class, you do know, the denomination is at a breaking point over our inclusion of LGBTQ persons. LGBTQ stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual, and queer. If you want all the letters, it's LGBTQIA+. I is intersex, and A is asexual. And it speaks to the conversations we're having around gender and identity. Currently, pastors in the United Methodist Church are not allowed to officiate at same-sex marriages, and same-sex marriage celebrations cannot be held in our sanctuary by virtue of book of discipline. We are also forbidden from ordaining LGBTQ persons, even as they express a call to ministry from God. In May of 2020, there will be another general conference gathered to determine our stand on these issues of human sexuality and the inclusion or exclusion of persons from full participation in the church. The Leadership Institute gave us a lot to think about. 2 different proposals to the General Conference were discussed, and there are more than that. They will spend 2 weeks deliberating legislation. But the 2 that were presented here were the Indianapolis Plan, which calls for dividing the church into separate camps based on how you feel about LGBTQ inclusion in the church. The other group is the UMC Next Plan, which seeks to abolish the discriminatory language in our book of discipline and allows conferences and churches to make these determinations in their own context. These are 2 different ways of going, right? I honestly don't know how this is going to turn out. I love our denomination, and I love our Wesleyan theology and its emphasis on God's love and grace. I am saddened by the division in our church. We will need to enter a season of prayer and study so that this congregation is ready for whatever may come. We will need to hear one another's stories and love one another deeply. The question isn't whether you are on the extremes of the story, right? Like if there are people who are called traditionalists and they are unwilling to be in a church that allows the ordination of gay people or marriage of gay people. There are people who are super progressive and they won't stay in a church that doesn't allow that. But what we're looking for is a next step. A step that allows those of us more in the middle, and in the American United Methodist Church, it's most of us, who could live in a church in which gay people can be married, even if we don't think that's okay. Right? So we're looking for a way. The question to ask is this: can you stay in a church in which gay people can be married in their sanctuary? Could you receive a gay person as a pastor? Could you stay in a denomination that it embraces and includes all people, even if it's not your cup of tea? Well, the sermon's going to address this just a little bit. It gives us an avenue for growing more deeply in love with one another, even in the places you disagree. All right. Lauren.
It's your turn.
Lauren fell asleep up here.
Welcome everybody, and welcome to those who are here for the first time. Here at FUMC, we're about connecting, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a 3rd generation member of this church. My grandparents, Jim and Dave Radmus, who don't live in Illinois. My mom, who's over there, is Chris. And then I'm Lauren, a senior at Centennial. And I know I have peers who are also 3rd generation members here. And hopefully we will hear from them sometime soon. Now it's time for the Facebook check-in. So everybody grab your phones and let the world know that you are here. And there are many announcements in the bulletin, so please read them at your leisure during the service. Not during the service. We hope that you will find an activity that you can connect with and hopefully will attend. The yellow sheets are our way of connecting with you. Please fill them out as much as you would like and place them in the offering plate. Be sure to include prayer or pastoral visit requests as well. Today we continue to sign up for the UMW Market, which will happen in October. Bakers and soup makers are needed, so sign up today at the table in the Friendship Center North. Take time to relax and support our Minds in Motion ministry. Illumin Yoga Studio is hosting a day of yoga on Saturday, October 5th, and all proceeds will go to Minds in Motion. More information about this event can be found in your bulletin. Next Sunday is World Communion Sunday. Please check your bulletin for more information on what donations are needed. Thank you for your support. And also, the high school Sunday school is requesting donations for purchasing fleece that we are going to make tie-knot blankets for homebound homebound members of our church. So if you would like to donate money, please donate it to the church office or potentially at the table after service. And let's get this service started.
Thank you. And good morning, I am Carol Bond, and I'm here today representing United Methodist Women, and we call UMW. You may have heard of the United Mine Workers, that's not us. Totally different. One of the first things I learned about United Methodist Women was this: we are a mission society. What does that mean exactly? It means that all year long, and whatever we learn, whatever we plan, whatever we do, we are working to improve the lives of women, children, and youth, here at home and in all places where there are needs. Each year we hold fundraising events which, along with our personal pledges, support the mission work of United Methodist Women, which brings us here today. So for the next 2 Sundays, you are all invited to attend our first and second Sunday markets. It's going to be right out here in Friendship Center. You don't have to come back at night. You don't have to get in a car, drive anywhere. When you get here, you are here. You'll be able to see us by our tables loaded down with fun-looking stuff, and we have balloons. So to start out on the first Sunday, which is October 6th, we will be featuring baked goods, including small cakes and homemade soup that we'll sell by the quart. We have 2 varieties we've been making for years, and they are hugely popular. Then we also have the beginning of our very sensational silent auction. More about that in a few minutes. And then, as you see, we have a limited number of very classy gift baskets. I know we're not supposed to be talking about Christmas early, but if you want to get ahead on your shopping, and it will all be wrapped, please stop at our table. Is that right? Yes. Okay, so if we go on to October 13th, we will have more fabulous gift baskets, more baked goods, and this time we'll be focusing on pies. I'm told that we have sold pies in the parking lot before they get even brought to the church. So you'll need to come early if you want a pie. And our silent auction continues, but that's the end of it. So at 12:15 on that day, the silent auction will close, and if you've bid on something, you will know whether you have been a lucky winner. We have an amazing collection of offerings from the generous people in our congregation, and also from local businesses like Columbia Street Roastery, if you're a coffee fan. There'll be more details listed so that you can find out what those are later in the week. So we invite you to help out by baking or making soup. See Sharon Johnson, she's always the one you see when you don't know where stuff is or how to do stuff. So you see her. She has recipes for you and mason jars. We also invite you to come check out our Sunday market. Just shop. It's festive and it's fun. Because of United Methodist Women and because of you, ministry and mission are in motion at First Church. Thanks.
And now, please stand as you're able. Join me in the call to worship. Beloved, we are called to love one another because love is from God. We are called to extend the love of God to all people.
We are called to proclaim God's love in all that we say and do. Please join me in the congregational prayer. O God of indescribable grace, as we offer our songs of praise, we come to you with humble realization that sometimes we do fall short. We speak quickly out of frustration, react without love, out of anger, and hold on to resentment that really only weighs us down. Open us up so that we can truly feel the power of your presence in our lives. Help us to walk forward with strength and perseverance, and to be Christ-like to the people we meet during our journeys. Amen.
Now a reading from Nehemiah 8. All the people came together as one in the square. They told Ezra, the teacher of the law, to bring out the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had commanded for Israel. So Ezra, the priest, brought the law before the assembly, which was made up of men and women, and all who were able to understand. He read it aloud from the daybreak till noon, and all the people listened attentively to the book of the law.
Then Ezra opened the book. All the people could see him because he was standing above them. And as he opened it, the people all stood up. Ezra praised the Lord, the great God. And all the people lifted their hands and responded, Amen, Amen. Then they bowed down and worshiped the Lord with their faces to the ground. The Levites read from the book of the law of God, making it clear and giving the meaning so that the people understood what was being read.
Then Nehemiah the governor Ezra the priest and teacher of the law, and the Levites who were instructing the people, said to them all, "This day is holy to the Lord your God. Do not mourn or weep." For all the people who have been weeping as they listened to the words of the law. Nehemiah said, "Go and enjoy choice foods and sweet drinks, and send some to those who have nothing prepared. This day is holy to our Lord. Do not grieve, for the joy of the Lord is your strength."
Then all the people went away to eat and drink, to set portions of food, and to celebrate with great joy, because they now understood the words that had been made known to them.
Will the children please come forward?